Hello guys, sorry guys for the movement at the beginning, but there you go. I'm not feeling too great today, so this one's going to be a bit more rushed, but I've got 7 pages of notes I'm going to go through. And with Insidious chapter 4, just trying to click off because there is spoilers. All of them just in the last Insidious chapter to let me wrap up my Insidious one, which I started last month. It was a 2018 mystery thriller. It was an hour and 43 minutes, and it's also a psychological horror. They changed the main theme for this one to show different. Then it starts with Elise's family, so the dad, the mum, the brother. New characters never been seen before, and they're right by a where her dad's works, which is a cop office, and basically someone got the electric chair and the lights keep flashing. So then they get sent to the room and they go, after describing Elise describes to her family the horrific death of that guy that hammered this old woman in the face and killed her. Then they're talking to his brother. Are you asleep? And no. And then he says they go into the darkness. Torch goes out. And then she finds out her brother is actually sleeping on the chair. She looks. The look of horror on her face as Elise realizes that the person speaking to her is not her brother. Then the kids scream and Dad hits Elise with the part, and then Dad is named Gerald and Mum is named Marjorie. Gerald picks Elise up and then puts her in the basement and locks the door and leaves her in the basement. She sees the glowing keyhole and the kid talks to her to let her in, and she releases a demon called the Key. We're going to call him the Key Man. Then the mum, Marjorie, tries to save her, but is strangled with the rope. And Elise's eyes are in the back of her head. Then we flash back to old Elise, wakes up, and we realise that was in California 2010. By the way, this scene takes place in 1956, New Mexico, New Keys. By the way, that the last scene was. We're on page 2. But old Elise wakes up and they find the drawing of the Key Man. And then she writes what he says, which is "Give me the key." We see the dog again, and we realise this is after Insidious chapter 3, but before Insidious chapter 1 and 2. And then he puts this light activation. Screw, basically, fuck all lights, fuck them all. We are going to put in this the soundproof, and he's like, lights. And it didn't come on. Lights, 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 lights. And she goes, okay, how about you add something that actually works next time? And then someone phones Elise up and says, hey, I'm being haunted, help me. And then Elise gets the man that called actually lives in our old house, and it scares Elise to her core, knowing what she's been through. And then she talks to the lads about all the abuse she suffered in that house. Elise originally was planning to head to the house alone, but Elise, the lads buy this minibus that they actually then were like, you have to bring us now. She goes to that house. The gate is rusted now at this point. She sees the chair Dad used to sit on to watch TV. She enters old room. And then you see a shadow behind Elise, but it doesn't do anything other than that. She finds the lost whistle and heads out of the room because a ghost directs her, and walks to the kitchen. Then the next thing you see is there's feet on the actual counter. And then they're gone the next moment. And then there's a woman in front of her, mimicking the "he's got your baby" stance, but without the arms. Girls appears behind her. Help her as the signal is lost. From Van to Elise. It's lost. She took the whistle. See young teen Elise. Someone opens the door and Elise is talking to what we feel like is a ghost. We'll see what that is. A girl. Elise grabs Dad's lead, shows her. Grabs Dad's head and then shows her what she sees through her eyes. And then Elise talks to someone. So then they go down stairs and they find this girl chained up through a locked door. Then the guy that phoned them is like, well, why did you have to come down here? I asked you to look for ghosts. Why did you have to come down here? And then he locked him up when he is spec. Now basically they have a long cat and mouse game with a gun. And basically he ends up slamming a cabinet type thing on his head and crushing him. Then there was a cafe scene where Elise meets up and finds the daughter of Christopher, her brother. And then they go back to the house. But Sister One is kidnapped by the key man once she goes, ah! He's got keys as hands. And he puts it in her throat and just locks her voice. And then the way he takes souls, put it in the heart and twist it and she dies. Sister 2 understands what Elsa's power. And also, before this, the girl, so I got an itchy. You see the sister, the way she knew was because the ghost that appeared behind the shelf was actually Sister 1. So we don't get names for them, well we do, but I couldn't be asked to research other than the notes that I collected. Then she took her, and Sister 2 said she got the powers of her. Specs and Big Guy have a crush on the sisters. Big Guy takes the fan off, and girl Elise saw as a teen was an escaped captured girl that her dad captured, but then her dad beats her up. Then Elise heads through the fan tunnel and she finds this suitcase. She opens the suitcase and it's got Anna's photos in it. She was the girl that was beaten to death. And then she finds her skull in the box as well, with her picture, and she put it back in, moved it. And then they found a second case with another girl's skull in it, and her stuff, and her pictures. And then the third case has nurse's clothes in, and then the fourth case, probably another woman actually, the third case, or the second girl's case clothes. But then the fourth case was the key man, and she goes to her further vision and talks to her younger self. Big Guy pulls Elise out, but it's too late. She took her soul. Sister 2 then enters the further. Then the girl that was captured actually shows Imogen, that's her name. The second Sister 2 was Imogen. Shows Imogen the door, and Elise and Sister 1 chained up like dogs. We're on the 6th page. See prison cells again. Shows Elise's dad's room, lets dad out, and basically Elise gets a chance to beat up her dad. And the dad was listing off all the bad things that are the cause of her powers. Elise then realises the demon actually feeds off of the beatings and that, and also the dad and the cabinet death guys both kidnapped realise as well that the demon actually is the reason why they're kidnapping girls. Then the key man, where they have a massive fight, he actually managed to shut off Elise's voice, but her dad stops him from stabbing her, but he stabs Sister 1 instead. Then the dad gets Thanos snaps away, and Elise gets her voice shut off, so she reaches for that, but she stabs the key man in his nose, grabs the whistle, and goes, "Ooh!" and that alerts her mum. Then Elise's mum appears and whacks him with the light and it burns his chair. And then they try and escape. The mum shows them the way out, but they enter the Lambert's house first, which was the scene in the beginning where he looks into the attic and nothing, it seems. But it was actually Elise, her mum, and the other two, and the sisters were in there. Then they enter the white room after that. And then the sister one returns to her hospital bed, and the mum tells Elise to keep what she's doing. Then they return to their body, and Elise speaks to her brother for the first time in a while, and she says they could talk. I'm sorry for shutting you out. And then Elise goes back home. They get a parking ticket and they go back home. Then they fall asleep. Elise is twisting and going, because it zoomed into Lambert's window, you know, the tree scene, and there was nothing there originally. Well, now they added a demon in there. The Darth Maul demon appears, and Elise gets the call. Basically, the call about the Lamberts having the second encounter. So that's all the notes I got for this film. Now, I'm going to give this film a 5 out of 5. This is the only story-driven Insidious, and it tried to be different, and I would say they did it better than other horror films. This generally told a story about dads will always be there for you even if they don't believe you. It also tells mums always your guardians, and it also tells you that basically humans can be as evil as actual demons, because obviously the kidnapping guy, and also don't believe everything is about. If you see something that looks sketchy, it's best to try and see if you can help it. They're the stories that I got from this, and I just feel like it's just such a different horror film. Story driven more than it is just to scare the fucking shit. There obviously were some pretty good jump scares, but it's not 100% about scaring the shit out of people. So yeah, I'm kind of glad they did not do the genuine scare everyone around every like 5 minutes with the there's like some jump scares everywhere, just some like feet, some like floating bitch coming at your face, some like CGI head twisting. They did something original and they did it, and I don't usually give a horror film a high rating, but this one did something different to any other horror film. This is the first horror film to actually tell a story. I wouldn't classify Get Out was in the same genre, but it was more about race. It was trying to tell the story of race. This tells multiple stories, and I really do enjoy this film for what it is. And it's, in my opinion, the first. This is the best Insidious film of the Insidious franchise. So I hope you guys did enjoy this review. If you did, please do smash that button. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.